even once these storms move past Memphis and Shelby County, we still have West Tennessee and northern Mississippi that we'll need to be on the lookout for as well. So again, here's Storm Tracker 3S showing this line of showers moving into this severe thunderstorm warned area. I have personally seen how these storms have been breaking down just a little bit as they've been moving off towards the east, but there remains quite a bit of instability out there, and the upper level charts are still showing some strong winds coming in with these storms out of southern portions of Crittenden County, southern Mississippi County, and this is the whole area. And this is, as Tim mentioned just a moment ago, this is a huge severe thunderstorm warned area. Let me move this chart over just a little tiny bit for you so we can get another accurate reading on the timing of these showers and thunder showers. Joyner, Bartlett, Germantown, Collierville, Covington. Tim, all of that's going to be happening within about the next 45 minutes. So this is like a train running right on time. It's heading your way, and we want to make sure that you're ready, and we want to make sure you're inside. We want to make sure that you're safe, because these high winds, we got to take them seriously, because we've obviously seen problems with trees coming down recently, and we just don't want to play around with this. We want to be extra careful.
The voice of calm in severe weather.
Let's be
Todd Demers. Thank you, Todd. I love just listening to that, to his discussion. It's just, there's nothing to get excited about. It's just, we're giving you the information so that you and your family can remain safe. But very fortunate, there are no tornado warnings at this point. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings, the severe thunderstorm watch. Of course, we're going to be here for about the next 45 minutes or so until these warnings expire at 2:15. So that's the expiration time expected with them. And this is, as we mentioned earlier, a very wide, expansive area of severe thunderstorm warnings. It's a very wide polygon. You don't normally see something this large, but this is really two lines of storms that have congealed into one. And so with that, you are seeing these storms move into the Memphis metro area as we speak. Now that I want to show you, because Todd was talking about these heavy amounts of rainfall, and so as he was doing that, I was plotting some of these numbers. I want you to see what we have picked up over the last 12 hours. That's from overnight into today. And I want you to see, these are all radar estimates here, but this down around areas of eastern sections of DeSoto County, taking you up here into Fayette County. There's 6.2 inches, 5.4 inches of rainfall. This is up around the Millington area, Arlington area, in the bend there of the Paul Barrett Parkway. 4.5 inches of rainfall, and it lessens out a little bit back at across areas of eastern Arkansas, but especially here in central and western areas of Fayette County, Tennessee. That's where we have seen over the past 12 hours the heaviest rainfall. Now you're going to be adding insult to injury by adding even more rainfall with these storms that are coming through, and these are not, they're not fast-moving storms. They are moving east at between 30 and 40, but what you're seeing here is still some heavy amounts of rain as they come through. If they were slower than that, if they were moving at 15 or 20, man, it would really be quite critical outside as far as flash flooding is concerned. You hear the raindrops here on top of us here in News Channel 3 on the rooftop as these storms are now moving into Memphis and Shelby County, coming across areas of eastern Arkansas, Rossville, out toward Collierville, Germantown. You're all in the severe thunderstorm warning. You're picking up heavy rainfall here, not just in Memphis, but over toward Piperton, and now areas of eastern DeSoto County and back over into Marshall County, Mississippi. But that's the close-up view there. Millington, Bartlett, Memphis, West Memphis, Jericho, Turrell, picking up some very hefty amounts of rain as we speak. And let's go ahead and cut that slice of the atmosphere once again, update this for you. Seeing these tops here between 40 and 50,000 feet. So this is a mature thunderstorm that we're dealing with. As it comes through, damaging winds between 50 and 60 miles per hour are certainly possible with this storm as it comes through. And we are seeing some reports of hail, but as Todd has mentioned, I'm not really seeing great hail signatures here. Down toward Byhalia, Mississippi, this is right along Highway 72, working out over to Marshall County, Tippah County, Mississippi. If you're out in that area, anywhere between Collierville and, say, Ashland, Mississippi, and you're going down Highway 72, I'd give it a while. Just take your time. Don't have to go right now. Wait until this storm system passes through, because you've got some hefty amounts of rain here north of Holly Springs, and this storm cell is putting out some wind as well. Now, we've talked about the lightning with these storms. Incredible number of lightning strikes with this. Not just cloud-to-cloud lightning, but cloud-to-ground lightning. So once again, we always remind you that lightning is the underrated killer. You don't need to be outdoors. I got to tell you, at least the rain is cooling things down. These crews from MLGW, they probably have packed it in or making sure that they're not being not judicious outside as far as staying safe and making sure that they avoid lightning strikes. They know their protocols, but at least the rain coming in is starting to cool these temperatures down somewhat, giving folks without power a little bit of a break. But there's quite a bit of lightning with these storms as they come through. The severe thunderstorm warning until 2:15 this afternoon. And here's what we're seeing as far as hail is concerned. I did a query a few moments ago. I think the largest hail size I saw was just at ½ an inch in diameter. So usually a 1 inch diameter greater is what we consider a severe cell, but really because of the winds associated with these storms coming through, that's why these storms have been deemed severe. Temps are in the 80s, 81 Memphis, 84 Dyersburg, 81 Blytheville right now. Heat indices, you don't really have to worry about those so much for the fact that temperatures have cooled off tremendously. Don't forget to download the WREG weather app. That's how you and your family can stay safe and make sure that you stay up to date on all these changing weather conditions, because we may be knocked off the air. And in some cases here recently, we are off the air, like on DirecTV and such. But with the WREG weather app, you can stay up to date on all these changing conditions, because, Todd, they are changing really quickly.
Across the area throughout the afternoon. You know, I was showing you this view coming to us from our West Memphis cam. You know, if our director Josh would like to go ahead and take some of the other cameras that we have outside, anything showing, I know we had a couple of traffic cams from earlier that were showing quite a bit in the way of the rainfall out on the roadways, and why we urge you to maybe be at home, be inside, be safe, not out on the roadways where you have the high winds, you have the heavy rain. When you look at these cameras, by the way, and you see them bouncing around a little bit, that's because you've got those 50 and 60-mile-an-hour winds associated with these storms as they're rumbling across the area. Then you have the wet conditions on the roadways, and you just have to slow it down and be extra careful if indeed you're going to be out and about, because again, here in the backyard, this is the Cotton Exchange camera, and we have quite a bit of rain in the downtown location right now, but at least we have some fairly decent visibilities. You know, Tim was sharing with you some of those rainfall totals. I'd found some information that came in earlier. It looked like Lakeland was the rainfall leader from overnight with almost 5.5 inches of rain. The Midtown area about 4, and almost 4 inches of rain in Arlington and Collierville, and out at the airport about 3.5 inches of rain. So you can understand why we had some flash flood warnings from earlier this morning across the area when those heavy rains moved through, mostly while you were sleeping. As you were getting your day started, the heaviest of that rainfall was really beginning to lighten up just a little bit. This is Storm Tracker 3S continuing to show some strong showers in southwestern Shelby County, and they stretch all the way up through portions of southern Mississippi County and northeastern Arkansas, and we'll be getting ready to move across the river and over into Tipton County towards Covington as well. This is the plot showing you that Bartlett, Germantown, Lakeland, Collierville, Covington, and even into Henning. I know this is kind of far out as far as the timing. We're about a half hour, 45 minutes out. This is the perfect time to plan and prepare and to not be caught out in these storms producing the high winds and the heavy rainfall. You have some time, not a lot, but you have a little bit of time to go ahead and get inside, make sure that everybody is safe, and make sure that everybody's going to be out of these storms as they make their way across Shelby County, because they're not moving as quickly as we first thought. They really seem to be close to about 20 to 30 miles an hour at this time, but the problem is they're producing not only the heavy rainfall but also the high winds as well, and that's going to blow around a lot of debris. And as Tim showed you a moment ago, we do have the entire area with that new severe thunderstorm watch box. That happened about 12:25 this afternoon, right in the middle of News Channel 3 at noon. And then we have this huge area right here, the polygon that's included in our severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 2:15. It's not going to surprise me if in a few minutes we start to see some of the counties in eastern Arkansas kind of released from that severe thunderstorm warning as the strongest of these storms continue to move over the river and over into West Tennessee. Here's another view. This is, I believe, going to be from our tower cam out east as well. But back here to Storm Tracker 3S, we continue to watch the heaviest of the rainfall continuing to work its way across southwestern portions of Shelby County, getting ready to move inside the loop. I mean, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's almost as if on cue I had some thunder rumbling and the sound of the rain here on our roof right here at News Channel 3 in downtown Memphis. And again, the strong winds really are the primary concern with this as it's moving through. And then as we kind of go down the list, the heavy rainfall, obviously the reduced visibilities on the roadways, and the problems that can all cause. And that is going to just cover the entire area here of Shelby County, as well as in Tipton County and parts of northern DeSoto County as well. Let me go ahead and get a little update here on this hail report, because I know that Tim mentioned a moment ago he saw some half-inch size hail. Let me see if that's, no, we're still at about a half-inch in most locations. So again, that's kind of under what would be considered severe thunderstorm warning. We need about 1-inch size hail in order for the severe thunderstorm warning to be issued. But right now, these severe thunderstorm warned areas are courtesy of those winds gusting and reported by radar as being over 60 miles an hour. And this is the activity. Let me go ahead and give you just a quick little tour. We'll go ahead and start down here across portions of DeSoto County. It looks like just outside of Hernando, we have some showers moving in your direction. I'll go ahead and put that into motion for you so you can see them moving over that way. We have not only the Hernando showers, but we have those moving into southwestern portions of Shelby County. So right there at Malfunction Junction, picking up some of that heavier rainfall. And then also to the north, closing in on Millington as we speak. You're about to get some of that heavy rainfall. Drummond's. And then also up around Covington, you're probably about a half hour out from seeing some of those stronger showers move into your area as well. And this is all part from the Severe Storms Prediction Center of that slight risk for severe weather that we're looking at as this latest little cold front works its way through the Mid-South. So we've got about another half hour of watching this storm, depending on how fast or how slow it moves, but it's going to continue to have a huge impact here on much of the immediate Memphis and the metro area with the heavy rain and the high winds. And that's why we're on the air right now, sharing with you where the storm is, where it's going, and if you happen to be in its path, certainly hopeful that you're going to be taking the proper precautions to be ready for it. Let me move this storm path over just a little tiny bit for you to make sure that we're getting the exact timing of these storms as they get ready to move through your area here. Looks like Millington's about to catch some of the heaviest of that rainfall, and then Bartlett by 142, Lakeland 154, and Collierville by 157. So yes, we still have the strong showers, and over the next 6 hours, we'll see this band move across the area. We'll catch a brief break and another chance for some rain later on this evening, Tim, as we see the remnants of this upper level disturbance push across the area.
Hey, Todd, I want to show this to you real quick. This is the airport camera. Josh, if we can take this full screen. I've been watching while Todd has been talking. These trees, they don't look near as menacing right now, but these trees have been bending over in the wind here over the last few minutes. You can see the rain sweeping across these trees, and that's out at Memphis International Airport. That's along the south loop that you're seeing right now. Just look at the rain being swept through those trees. The trees are bending, not quite as much as they were about 2 minutes ago, but I got to tell you, that is I-40 right now. Here comes an I-40 shot as well. That's on the TDOT camera. Just not a day that you want to be outside, and look at all the water from some of on the roadways there behind those cars. Hydroplaning, yeah, hit those brakes there. Take it easy. So just if you have to travel, please wait if you can. Otherwise, you've got some heavy rainfall to get through. Got some other information to pass along to you here real quick. Let me go through the slideshow, show you that we're still in that slight risk for severe weather for the remainder of today, and that's going to continue. Severe thunderstorm watch until 6 o'clock tonight. We're with you now for these severe thunderstorm warnings. Excuse me, let me cough real quick there. And we've got a new warning that has been issued here as well. Let me go ahead and check the timing on that one and see when that's going to expire. It looks like that one's going to go until 2:30 down into portions of Marshall, Benton, Tippah, and Alcorn County, Mississippi. And I'll show you why in just a moment. We'll do a storm track on that cell. So we've got the heavy rain now coming into Memphis. We've got also some strong storms happening there across areas of North Mississippi. Lakeland, Arlington, we're getting some indications that these winds are picking up in North Shelby County, Tennessee, between 70 and 80 mile per hour winds. That is the last thing we need anywhere in Shelby County, because just from a few weeks ago, I believe that, what was it, June 30th, that we had those storms come through here with 90-mile-per-hour winds. It knocked all these power lines down and trees down and such, and MLGW just still trying to recover from that. We've had additional storms earlier this week. Now we've got more storms that are pushing winds of about 70 to 80 miles per hour. So let me do a storm track on this particular area that is moving through the Arlington region as we speak. Give me 1 second. Let me just kind of set my parameters here. That is moving toward the east. That's moving toward Oakland, Griffin, Mormon, Somerville, Dancyville, and Fayette Corners between now and 2:16. So we've got those storms pushing through eastern areas of Shelby County, Tennessee. Now, western areas of Fayette County, you need to be alert. And I do want to go over and check these storms here for this new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. I want to track the heaviest part of this storm that is now working out toward Ashland, Mississippi. This is right along Highway 72. You see Highway 5 there as well, Highway 7. So if you live in these areas, you know what we're talking about. You know that these storms are impacting your area right now. So let me do a quick storm track on that as well. Excuse me. And here we go. So this is moving toward Snow Lake Shores at 151, Ashland 156, 212 in Cleveland, 217 Faulkner, Mississippi. If you live in these areas, be alert. These storms are heading your way. They're not tornadic, but we're talking winds here in excess of 60 miles per hour. Some indications that these winds are going somewhere around the 80-mile-per-hour range as well. They are continuing the severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like there is a flood advisory coming out for Crittenden and Cross County until 4:45 this afternoon. That doesn't surprise me based on all of the rainfall that we've been picking up with these storms, and they just keep on coming with heavy rainfall now up around the Millington area. So if you live up in the Shelby Forest area, portions of northwest Shelby County, you're getting pummeled right now with rain, the winds there. And as far as these cloud tops, they are still up in the, they're just over 50,000 feet at this particular time. So this cell is holding together quite nicely as it comes through Shelby County, Tennessee. And now we're seeing more activity being ejected out just really in advance of this across northern sections of Mississippi. I'm going to stop that scan real quick, go into the heart of this particular storm. This is Holly Springs. You see Holly Springs there. Thank you for taking that full screen. Holly Springs, Highway 7, Highway 311, going up to 72. In that area, matter of fact, let me just check and see if I've got any type of hail indications in that storm right now. Bear with me for 1 second. Yeah, there is hail. Let's check the size on that real quick. 0.6 of an inch being indicated there, ½ an inch a little bit further south of that. So these hailstones, not that big, but at least this storm is producing hail, and that is an indication of a mature thunderstorm. And in this case, it's not 1 inch diameter or greater, so it's not indicative of a severe storm. But we know that these storms are severe just by the winds that they are creating. And then you've got these lightning strikes as well, causing a real issue for those needing to be outside and doing repairs on the already down power lines and trees and such. I would be, let me ask Josh, our director, someone in the back, if we have maybe a Shelby County MLGW outage map that we could find somewhere. I would really be interested in seeing what the outages are right now based on the storms that we've had last night and where we are right now with these storms coming through. So there it is. And we've got people affected, customers affected. Looks like 17,932. We've got 900 outages. At this point, it looks like that the worst part of these outages, and by the way, thank you for the map, the worst part of these outages right inside the 240 loop out toward Poplar, out toward the Germantown area, Mount Moriah, and those areas. So elsewhere, we've got some other hail indicators here, but at this point, just the heavy amount of rain, Todd, is really the big story here, along with these damaging winds. We just keep getting one storm system after another, and the poor folks at MLGW, those linemen that are out working, and I'm telling you, man, they're working. They're not at Dunkin' Donuts every morning, getting coffee and eating donuts. They're out there putting these lines back up, and they're just doing an incredible job.
Yeah, we were watching Doug McGowan with MLGW the other day talking about not only do you have them, but you also, the crews that are putting the wires back up, but you also have those folks that are out there trimming the trees to get the trees off of the line so they can put the lines back up, and the administrative assistants and everyone that is out there trying to figure out the best way to get power restored to everybody just as quickly as possible. But here's the big picture view once again, Storm Tracker 3S showing the heaviest of this rainfall, the highest of the winds right now across Memphis and Shelby County. This is where we have our severe thunderstorm warning in effect. We're getting some reports of wind gusts over 40 miles an hour out at Memphis International, and Tim mentioned the Millington area right now getting hit with some high winds and some heavy rainfall as well. Bigger picture view, let me share with you what's going on over the next few hours. Collierville by 152, that's just in the next few minutes. Oakland 207, Somerville 221, and Ripley 227. This is that line of showers that we were talking about, and just a moment ago Tim was telling you that not only do we have this severe thunderstorm warning, but this was the new one that was just issued. That one's going to be going until 2:30, and that one's going to include not only Benton, Tippah, Marshall, but also Alcorn County as well. That one will go until 2:30, and that is the one that has been producing that isolated one cell that has been pushing off towards the east at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. And that's, I mean, I can track this, but this is, as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward view of where that thing is going. Ashland, Walnut, and Crumtown all between now and about 2:30. So again, you have that one particular area where the cell itself is at about 40 to 50,000 feet, and it's been producing some large size hail to go along with some of those gusting winds. This is the view here showing you some of those winds across the area and what we call that bow echo. When you see it kind of bowing out like this is where we're seeing some of the highest of the winds stretching all the way from Tipton County through Shelby, and yes, even down into DeSoto County as well. The heaviest of that rainfall down around Hernando. And again, I think we're able to handle the rainfall, especially if you're able to stay off the roadways. The big problem continues to be, as we've been mentioning, those high winds moving across the area and the problems they can cause as far as bringing the trees down on top of the power lines and all of the problems that causes from right there on out. Now, many of the locations, many of these stronger showers and thunder showers have indeed been producing some large size hail, but the hail that we've been checking out lately has been showing up in the neighborhood of less than a half an inch. This one, let me get a look here at some of this, is showing the one particular cell up around Millington just under a half an inch, and the one over by the airport right at a half an inch. And those storms across northern Mississippi also producing hail at about a half an inch in diameter. So, once we see this line of showers and thunder showers, I'll zoom back out here for a second because I wanted to share with you that there's not a whole lot coming in back behind it. I mean, we may have some rain moving across the area, but it's not going to be as strong as what we're looking at right now, pushing across the Mid-South with that slight risk of severe weather continuing across much of the area. This whole line has been just perfectly in line with where these storms have been heading from the Severe Storms Prediction Center, and the watch continues until 6 o'clock this evening, and it looks to me like we've just lost some of the counties associated with the warned area. And I mentioned this is going to happen just a couple of minutes ago. As the storms pass through the area, we take off some of the polygon area dealing with that severe thunderstorm warning. So as I stop this for just a moment, I'll take off the radar scan so you can see that at least the western half of Shelby County has now been taken out. So the downtown area is taken out, but if you're in the eastern half of Shelby County, you are still in the severe thunderstorm warning. So is Tipton County, and now across western portions of Fayette County and a very small part of DeSoto County as well. So what happens is, as these storms move off to the east, we'll go ahead and see a lot of the severe weather threat ending for that area, and therefore they take those particular parts of the warned area out of the circulation here. So let me go ahead and give another quick little look at these storms that, Tim, I don't know about you, but it looks to me like they're starting to pick up a little bit of speed once again as they've been moving off towards the east. And I'm going to just redraw this real quickly here. Let's stop it and get a better look at exactly where the line is. And as they are moving across eastern portions of Shelby County, now looking at moving into the Germantown area as we speak. Collierville, about 203, Covington, 209, Oakland, 213, and then Henning and Somerville. So we still have this line of showers to go, a brief break in the possibility. This is my high-res rapid refresh forecast model. It's the 6-hour model, taking you out to about 7:30 this evening. As we get through with this latest round of showers, we'll get a break, but I'm not sure that we're going to be totally through with the rainfall for the rest of the evening. We may have one more band to come through, and then after that, starting this evening into the overnight hours, the remnants of our cold front that's been helping to trigger a lot of these showers will be moving down to the south. And then let me tell you, we'll have northerly winds, we'll have clearing skies, we'll have temperatures in the 80s, and your weekend outlook is just looking fantastic, Tim. The weather's looking great for the weekend, but we still got to get through today first. I don't want anybody to let their guard down. I want to make sure that everybody's paying attention, especially for Shelby, Tipton County. We've just got to be on the lookout as these storms move across the area.
That's right. Todd, thank you very much. And excuse me, Todd's been here since early this morning, and it's very seldom that Todd and I get to do severe weather. But Jim has really no voice right now. Jim was actually struggling the other day when he was here Tuesday. We were covering these storms, and so he's had to rest his voice for a couple of days. So I really appreciate Todd sticking around here today. Severe thunderstorm watch is going to continue through 6 o'clock this evening. We have the multiple severe thunderstorm warnings as we have been covering this afternoon, as Todd has pointed out as well. One across areas of North Mississippi. That goes until 2:30. These other warnings here, which Todd also mentioned, that is being trimmed down somewhat because as the storms move out of these areas, the National Weather Service is beginning to trim these off a bit. We've had some indications of potential wind gusts in North Shelby County around the 80-mile-per-hour range. Also looks like a 53, 54-mile-per-hour wind gust out of Memphis International Airport just a short time ago. And these storms are settling right into the heart of the News Channel 3 viewing area. At this time, I'll do a storm track on these storms that are now approaching the Oakland area. I do anticipate Shelby County being cleared of this warning sometime around 2:15, maybe a little bit later than that, as they will issue probably multiple warnings off to the east. But let me do a quick storm tracker on this one, if you will. And this is across like Macon over toward Oakland, Moscow, and that area on this particular part of the storm. We're at 154 right now, Somerville, 159, 208 Laconia, 216 Fayette Corners, 219 Wineville, 229 Bolivar, 237 in Tune, Tennessee. So be alert if you live in those areas that these storms are heading your way. Now, oddly enough, this is July the 21st. And and by the way, there's a new flood warning coming out for portions of Arkansas here around Earl, Cherry Valley, Cross County, into areas of Crittenden County. I believe that goes till 4:15 this afternoon. Let's check that there. Yep, till 4:45. Got a downtown live shot we can pop up for you right now. Show you what's happening at downtown Memphis. So I'll just tell you, the rain's still coming down, but if I can use some Southern grammar, that ain't nothing compared to what we've had here just about 30 minutes ago. I mean, it was coming down in sheets and blowing through downtown Memphis. But I did want to point out that this is July 21st. And you go back to, we're almost on that anniversary of July 22nd, 2003, when Hurricane Elvis came through. And with that being said, I was just watching and listening to what Todd was saying just a moment ago as we started seeing kind of the bow portion of this, kind of a bow echo, not as pronounced as the one back on July 22nd, 2003, but this storm system is bowing out, which indicates it's got some damaging winds with it. We have certainly seen that with multiple reports now topping 50 miles per hour, and some estimates are in the 80 mile per hour range. And just a few weeks ago, when we had those power outages here across Shelby County, the one that had the 90 mile per hour winds, that's what did so much damage, taking out so many trees. And we're talking about something that at least borders that today. Now, we're talking about what's happening in Shelby County. I don't want to leave the folks out in North Mississippi because you are getting pounded out there along Highway 72, right around the Ashland, Mississippi area. I'll come in a little bit closer. Lamar, Snow Lake Shores. A lot of this is farmland. It's not as highly populated as, say, if you were going to Whitehaven or Germantown or Collierville, but there aren't as many people that live out here. But nonetheless, we got viewers out there. So let's do a storm track on this cell because it's actually pushing over toward Walnut. This is moving toward Canaan at 159, Brody at 203. Faulkner at 217, and Walnut, Mississippi at about 217 as well. So if you live in these areas, this is a severe thunderstorm. It's not tornadic, but it is a severe storm with winds over 60 miles per hour and those hefty amounts of rainfall coming down as well. More flash flooding possible with these storms. And I got to tell you, these areas were very hard hit with rain overnight. I go back to this map here, and these are all estimates now from the radar, but nonetheless, you're talking 5 inches. There's over 6 inches worth of rainfall up in the Arlington area. There's an indication of 4.4, and I think Todd even had a higher number than that up in Arlington. And then you've got lesser amounts across eastern Arkansas. But down in North Mississippi, in these areas where you had 6 inches of rain over the last 12 hours, the last thing you want is more rainfall, that's for sure. One thing that has really helped us out here as far as temperatures go is the rain that we're experiencing today. And we've got temps now in the 70s in Memphis and Shelby County, 75 here, 76 in Tunica, 79 Blytheville. So at least we're getting a break from the heat. No heat advisories, no excessive heat warnings for us today in our viewing area. But that being said, we have got these strong storms. And Todd, it's kind of like choose your poison here. It's either, you know, damaging storms or you've got excessive rainfall. So what would you rather have, you know?
Well, right now with that rainfall working its way across the area, Tim, earlier this morning our Quamicha Wilburn was out dealing with some of those areas that got flooded, and some folks did not turn around and they got caught up in some of that heavier rainfall. Then we saw a lot of the crews that were out there that were trying to clean out the drainage ditches in the areas to make sure that the water would indeed drain properly. So there could still be some areas that are dealing with that heavier rainfall, overwhelming drainage systems for a short period of time. And that's why we urge you to be very, very cautious as you are out and about if you have to be, or we certainly hope you'll just wait until these storms have moved out of the area. I'd like to do what we call a deep dive into what's going on here across the Mid-South. We've been talking about these severe thunderstorm warnings and this line of shower activity that's making its way across Shelby County right now, moving into Covington, Tabernacles, Somerville, Ripley, Brownsville, and Hillville. That's all going to be happening within about the next half hour. But I just wanted to take a moment. Let's go ahead and zoom on in, get a little bit closer here to some of those storms that are moving through not only DeSoto County right now around Olive Branch, just outside of the airport area. We also have the very heavy rainfall right around Collierville, Fisherville, Lakeland. And again, it's not just the rainfall that we're dealing with here. We're also dealing with the very powerful winds as well. There's Atoka, and then if you're in the Covington area, chances are good you're going to be dealing with some of those stronger showers and thunder showers as well. And as this line of storms continues to move off towards the east, I'm noticing some wind particles back behind this frontal boundary showing more of a northerly flow, a slightly cooler, drier air, a little bit more stable air mass trying to move in. But we are still dealing with this severe thunderstorm warned area for eastern Shelby County and portions of western Fayette County, also up through Tipton County and the Covington area as well. If you are in these areas, I urge you to be very cautious, and if at all possible, try to be inside until these storms pass by. It's going to take about another half hour, 45 minutes, but I want to make sure that if you're in advance of these storms and they're heading your way, you know this, and you know you have the opportunity, maybe you have a few minutes to go ahead and get inside, get off of the roadways, and to go ahead and find a safe place to be. These storms have been picking up a little bit of speed as they've been moving off to the east. It looks like the heaviest of the activity now is occurring right here through Germantown and Collierville. As far as the heaviest of the rainfall, we're still seeing those winds gusting across the area as they move across eastern Shelby County and now towards Oakland, Moscow, Grand Junction, and of course across northern portions of Mississippi as well. I noticed that Tim, just a moment ago, was showing a little bit about the storm path on that system right here across northern Mississippi, moving towards Brody, Whitten, Walnut through the next half hour to 45 minutes as well. But I'm going to continue to keep a very close eye on some of these stronger showers and thunder showers. Let me go ahead and see if, I know Tim a moment ago was looking at some of these storms, taking a closer look at what they look like deep down inside here with the cloud tops at 30 to 40,000 feet, an indication here that these storms do have the potential to produce some of that hail across the area, and so we're watching that as well. But the severe thunderstorm warned area, an indication that we have storms producing some 60-mile-an-hour winds and some large size hail and the heavy rainfall. And we're just trying to make sure that if you're out in advance of this storm system, you know about it so that you can take the proper precautions to be safe, because that's the whole reason we're here. We're trying to make sure you know what's heading in your direction, and that way you can go ahead and get into the safe location caution and wait it out and hopefully not be on the roadways. Tim, I don't know about you. Talk about the stress level going way up. If you ever had to drive through some of this where you have the reduced visibilities and the possibility of hydroplaning and then somebody's flying by you at 100 miles an hour and you're going, oh my gosh, how can you drive this quick in this rainfall? So it's like, I just would prefer not to be out on the roadway when this rain is coming through the area.
I got home 2 o'clock last night, and my wife, first thing out of, because she was awake too, first thing out of her mouth, she says, I cannot believe you drove home in this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I didn't really hit the rain until I got to close to Millington up there. So I didn't have to drive in a lot of rainfall. But Todd, you're right. You don't want to be driving in this. You want to avoid it if at all possible. But yeah, that severe thunderstorm watch continues. We have the multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. And by the way, you are watching WREG TV in Memphis, Tennessee. And Tim Simpson, Todd Demers here with you, camping out this afternoon, keeping you and your family safe during these severe storms that are coming through our area. We have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. This one originally issued for portions of West Tennessee, North Mississippi, really going from about Holly Springs up to Covington. That's going to go until 2:15. So we've got about another 12 minutes on that warning. That could be extended. I expect it will be extended. We've got another warning down toward Walden, Mississippi, really along Highway 72, just along 72 and south of it, going over into Tippah, Alcorn, Benton counties, Marshall counties of Mississippi. That goes until 2:45. Now, let me add another warning here. This is actually a new flood warning that has come in. Whoop, it just went away. Hold on. I'm driving this car here. Flash flood warning until 5 o'clock. In this warned area here, basically from Memphis, Shelby County, South Haven, out toward Collierville, Moscow, and out into northwestern sections of Benton County, Mississippi. We're talking 1 to 3 inches of rainfall that has already fallen here with these storms this afternoon, with an additional 1 to 2 inches possible as well. So if you live in this corridor here, and that's going to be not just Highway 72, but Highway 57 as well. That goes from Collierville, Rossville, Moscow, LaGrange, Grand Junction, Salisbury, Middleton, all the way out to Pickwick, if you will. Back in the old days, that was the way you went to Pickwick. But now you take 72 because it's 4-laned and you don't have the speed traps there. So what you're seeing is still a lot of thunderstorm activity firing up across our area, and some of the heaviest activity now. I'm going to just stop this for a moment, and I'm going to take you down to Ashland, Mississippi. They're getting pummeled right now in Ashland. Let me put this into motion to let you see that storm. Severe thunderstorm warning will continue for Alcorn, Benton, and Tippah County of Mississippi. The one that I'm showing you right here, they're going to continue that. Let me put a new storm track on this storm as well, because I want you to know where this storm is going here over the next, I got it stretched out for 30 minutes. So there we go. Brody at 2:05. So that's really right now. Wittentown, 2:11. Walnut at 2:19. And Cleveland at 2:22. So if you live in those areas of North Mississippi, Brody, Wittentown, Walnut, Cleveland, it's coming your way. Expect at least some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, along with some cloud to ground lightning with that, some very heavy rainfall. And I got to tell you, we're just wearing it out on the rain today with the flash flood warning now in effect, and still heavy rainfall across areas of southeastern Shelby County. Let me come inside the county here, if you'll give me that moment. And that is Collierville, Germantown. We'll zoom in to show you all these areas being impacted here. This is along Winchester Road, East Shelby Drive. There is Collierville, there's Frank Road, there's Collierville, Arlington. So some of the heaviest rainfall that we're seeing right now out in these areas of Shelby County. Let's go back behind that. This is taking you down close to the Olive Branch area. Very heavy rain between State Line, along Hacks Crossroad, and Handy Corner. So if you live in this area, there in North Mississippi, you're getting pummeled right now. Please batten down the hatches for just a while longer as these storms continue to roll through your area. I don't want to leave out the folks up in Tipton County. I mean, we're not exclusive to Shelby County. We're not exclusive to North Mississippi with these storms. If you live up in Covington, areas of Tipton County, you're probably thinking, when is Tim going to talk about me? right now. If you're up here between Covington and Mason, this is along Highway 59 and Highway 14, Canaan Grove, Gainesville. You've got heavy rainfall in that general area right now. Not seeing indications of hail at this particular time, but heavy rain along with the gusty winds, and that goes all the way back into Gilt Edge, Osceola, and you've got lighter amounts of rainfall up toward Ripley, and it finally fizzles out around Dyersburg. Some heavy rain coming into the Hillville area, which is just to the southeast of Brownsville, Tennessee. Woodland, there you see just off of the interstate, Woodland and Huntersville, not yet in your area, but it's coming your way. I would like to do another storm track real quick before I hand it back to Todd on this cell here that is coming into Shelby County, into Fayette County as we speak. Had just a little bit of a lapse there as we're talking Grand Junction, Salisbury, Hickory Valley, Whiteville, Bolivar, and then Middleton at 234. So if you live in those areas, this storm is moving your way as it continues moving eastward at about 40 miles per hour. A heavy rain event right now, Todd, a wind event, but very fortunate that this is not a tornado event.
And across the area, we're continuing to see some of the strongest of these winds right now along the line of this bow echo that we've been telling you about. And this just flashed up. I mean, right as we were talking here, I don't know if you just noticed that. You see all these counties that just kind of turned orange? That's a new severe thunderstorm warning, meaning these storms are holding together, and all across southwestern Tennessee now looking at the potential for strong winds of over 60 miles an hour. And that's what we're looking at with this particular line right here as it's continuing to move off to the east. Moments ago, I was getting a report that some of the highest of the winds were being reported here in extreme northwestern portions of Fayette County and southeastern Tipton County. So that's where we've been seeing some of the strongest of the winds over the past half hour to 45 minutes. But this entire line, when we talked about that bow echo making its way through Shelby County, and it's almost out. We still have some brief heavy rainfall across extreme southeastern Shelby County, but the majority of this is either in northern Marshall County or in Fayette County or moving through Tipton County right now up around Covington, Grand Junction by 217, Whiteville by 225, Brownsville by about 230. So again, these showers and thunder showers and the high winds that have prompted this severe thunderstorm warning almost out of the area. But again, that is due to expire anyway at 2:15, and then we have the new severe thunderstorm warning that's across northern Mississippi that's supposed to go until 2:30. And let me just double check here on that new one that they just posted a moment ago. I bet you that's going to go until 3 o'clock. So again, that's for the area across parts of West Tennessee. Once this particular severe thunderstorm warned area expires at 2:15, if they decide to cancel it in its entirety, then you'll have this one left over, and that one will be going until 3 o'clock. And it's understandable because these storms have been holding together and moving off towards the east at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. And it's going to take a good hour or so for it to get all the way across parts of West Tennessee. But we still have some strong showers and thunder showers here in northern Mississippi, right along the state line here, and the heaviest of the activity now moving into Fayette County, just to the south of Covington, right around Braden and heading towards Brownsville as well, up around Haywood County. So this is all moving off towards the east, but the big concern we have had over the past hour that we've been on TV sharing with you has been the severe thunderstorm warning for us right here in Shelby County, Tipton County, DeSoto County, the immediate Memphis and the metro area, where we have been battling a lot of problems with power outages because of so many recent storms that involved high winds knocking down power lines or tree limbs onto power lines and power outages across the area. The crews have been working nonstop for, I guess, the last 3 or 4 weeks trying to get all of that taken care of, and the last thing we really needed here was another round of high winds, and that's the primary concern with these storms moving through. One of the secondary concerns happened to have been the heavy rainfall that we've been dealing with, and also some areas were picking up some large size hail. Most of this hail has been less than a half an inch in diameter, so we haven't been seeing excessively large hail. But you know, anytime you've got a storm that's been producing some hail, you know it's a fairly mature thunderstorm causing those high winds, and the problems, and the elevation within that storm is probably in the 30 to 40 and maybe even up to the 50,000 foot level to produce some of that large size hail. But again, the bow echo of this storm that seems to be breaking up a little bit with the strongest of the storm, the heaviest of the rain, northern Marshall, now moving through Fayette and starting to move out of Tipton County as we speak. I mentioned a moment ago that the severe weather risk from the Severe Storms Prediction Center had already placed most of the area. Yesterday we had a slight risk. Last night it went back to a marginal risk, and this morning it was back to that slight risk, and understandably so, since we are indeed dealing with some of that severe weather. We have not only a severe thunderstorm watch box for the area, we have the severe thunderstorms going on for much of southwest Tennessee, and we even have some flooding concerns as well. That's too much rain in a short period of time. That's what's going to be causing those problems. We center up our map once again. Boy, this is an active situation here when you're looking at all these colors on the map, the watch box, the warning polygons, and then the rain that's included within these storms moving off towards the east right now. It's going to continue to be a very active afternoon here across the Mid-South. And let me go ahead and center this back up for a moment here. Let me do one more quick storm path on this to show you what's going on with this line of showers and thunder showers moving across West Tennessee and Fayette Corners, Bolivar. All of this is going to be within the next few minutes. Middleton, Tim, I think you know where that's at, 247. Henderson by 311. That's where the line of showers and thunder showers will continue to move off towards the east as they're kind of exiting the immediate Memphis and the metro area. They're still not totally through the area. We're trying to give you advance notice if you're in the path of this storm to go ahead and find the safe place to be, because I really don't want you to be out on the roadways, and that's where downloading the WREG weather app comes in handy. You might not be able to be near a TV 24/7, so when you have that app, you have that right there in the palm of your hand, and you can check the radar before you head out and maybe decide, I'll wait till the storm moves through, or I have enough time to go ahead and get out in advance of it. We still have a few isolated heavier storms possible later on this evening, Tim, but for right now, we're going to continue to watch as those storms, and I think you probably saw it, we have that new severe thunderstorm warned area that seems to cover most of southwest Tennessee.
That's right. Thank you, Todd, very much. Yeah, we're still under the severe thunderstorm watch. We've got new counties under warnings right now. These warnings, as Todd mentioned, go all the way out to now Selmer, Tennessee, McNairy County. So we're talking a pretty wide girth here, if you will, for these storms as they continue moving eastward at about 40 miles per hour. So not only do we have the severe thunderstorm watch, the severe thunderstorm warnings, we also have flood warnings that are in effect across the area as well, and so we are watching for that. Matter of fact, this is the flood warnings that are in effect across our area as we speak, going until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Memphis, Kyville, out toward Moscow. We've got another one that was just issued up around the Millington area. That's going to go until 5:15. That's a flash flood warning. This one goes till 5 o'clock. You've got one back into Cross County, Crittenden County that goes until 4:45 this afternoon. We have had some incredibly crazy weather taking place today. I do want to show you one thing here. These are all the warnings that we see right now. They go all the way out to Chester County, Tennessee, McNairy County, Tennessee, even out toward Jackson, Madison County, portions of Carroll County. Watch what happens here. I want you to see this in about 5 seconds. You're going to see this graphic change. All right, are you tracking with me at home? Here we go. Boom, boom. That's it. Gone. So at this point, now Memphis, Shelby County is out of this warning. We're going to continue for just a while longer because these are incredibly powerful storms that are dumping a lot of rainfall, producing some damaging winds. But now Shelby County is in the clear as far as severe weather goes. So I want to make sure that you are aware of that. This is what the whole new situation looks like as we check out the severe thunderstorm watch, the severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. But these new warnings out into Chester, McNairy County, Madison County, they go until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We may not be on quite till 3 o'clock or so, but these storms are picking up some momentum as they move eastward. The multiple flash flood warnings across the area going until 4:15, 5 o'clock, 5:15, and now these storms continue working out into areas of Hardeman County, Tennessee, back down into Benton County, Mississippi. I'm going to put this into motion for you, and you can see they're already pushing into the Brownsville area as well. But at this point, as you see, Shelby County, and that is basically right here, that line that you're seeing right there. Back toward the west, everything's looking much better in Shelby County. Still, under the gun right now, if you will, still being impacted. Fayette County, Tennessee, northern sections of Marshall County into Benton County. I'm going to bring up another one here. This is please just double check, and I want to make sure that this is not included. Yeah, it's not. But I'm watching this little area, this little line forming here just to the east of Senatobia. That's back around the Byhalia area. That does not look to be a severe cell as of yet, but I don't really like the look of that. And I'm going to go do a track on that one as well. 220 Glenville, 221 Chulahoma, Galena at 227, Gilton 235, Malone at 241, 243 at Lake Center. So if you live in those areas, be alert to what's going on right now. That cell is just starting to gain some strength, gain some momentum. I'm watching that. Don't really like the looks of that little tail on the storms there, if you will. But if you're out in Walnut, Mississippi along Highway 72, any of these areas, now's the time to be alert. We'll always tell you here to respect the polygon. If your city or town falls within this polygon like Walnut does, Faulkner does, Ashland, Mississippi does, you need to be in your safe shelter spot. You need to be at home, interior room, bathroom, closet, no second floors. If you have a basement, count your blessings and then get in that basement. That's where you need to be. So let me do a storm track on some of these storms here a little bit further to the north. This one's coming through Somerville right now. This is going to be pushing out into Whiteville in the next few minutes. So let me do just a storm track on that portion of the storm as it moves east toward Bolivar and Hornsby. Newcastle at 221, 225 Whiteville, Bolivar at 236, Hebron at 244, Hornsby 250, Silerton at 254. So I like how they're putting that up full screen. You can see that, you can read that at home really well, and there's no concern, or there's no what's the term I'm looking for here real quick. Thank you, Todd. That's Josh. That was Josh telling me. Thank you, Josh. It's always good to have a Josh in your earpiece sometime. So there's no confusion about these storms and where they're headed and such. So as they continue working into this warned area, we want to make sure that you and your family are safe. We've already picked up hefty amounts of rainfall, which is why the flash flood warnings have been issued. And now some of that heavier rainfall continues working out toward the east. This is the past 12 hours, anywhere from 2 to 4, 5. Well, now we're getting an indication of over 7 inches of rain now. This particular location down in, looks like just eastern sections of DeSoto County, Mississippi, moving over into Marshall County, Mississippi. So this is a dangerous situation that continues to play out for us here at News Channel 3. No excessive heat warning for us today. No heat advisory for us today. And the reason is all the rain that we've picked up. So we've traded our heat and our excessive heat for flooding and flash flooding and severe storms and temperatures in the 70s. At this point. And of course, we always remind you that anytime that you're at home on your phone or on your smart device, make sure that you've got the WREG weather app downloaded so you can stay up to date on these changing weather conditions. Todd, what you got for us?
Well, you know, a moment ago you're talking about how that heavy rainfall coming out of DeSoto County. I was just noticing that one cell down there coming into northern portions of Marshall County as well. I'll stop this real quickly here. And we have really seen a lot of heavy rainfall from overnight and now this afternoon as well. And that's basically one of the components of what makes all of this severe weather. We have had some localized flash flooding. This is a serious situation, especially if it's out on the roadways. We've had a lot of high winds. We've had a lot of lightning. I mean, a lot of lightning. And of course, we've had the very powerful winds as well. And this is just one of those little areas coming out of DeSoto County that may have been causing that particular cell to show over 7 inches of rain over the past 12 hours. And right now, Fayette County, we have some very heavy rainfall going on there right around Williston, just south of Somerville. And then coming out of Tipton County, you see Mason and the Covington area picking up some of those heavier showers. And then at the same time, we talk about this, the whole concept of this bow echo, the way it's bowing out. That's usually a good indication that we're going to be seeing some fairly powerful winds. And I look at the reports coming in and some 60 and 70 mile an hour winds coming in. But if you're in the Stanton, Whiteville, Brownsville, Walnut, Huntersville, or even Jackson over about the next hour, I need you to really be alert to some rapidly changing conditions as these storms continue to work their way off to the east. and that's really been the big concern, the high winds and now even some heavy rainfall as well. The majority of this has moved out of the immediate Memphis area. We still have some leftover rain. We obviously have some wet conditions on the roadways. I urge you to slow it down and be careful out there. But anywhere across southwest Tennessee, we're still dealing with a threat of these high winds and these heavy rains working their way off towards the east. And that's why we have this new area. Not only do we have the big watch box area, but we have the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. We have the one across northern Mississippi that'll go until 2:30, and then this bigger severe thunderstorm warned area that encompasses several counties. That's going all the way up until 3 o'clock because it's going to take that long for those storms to work their way off to the east and across parts of southwest Tennessee. And that is the area of the biggest concern right now. That's where these storms are moving right now, heading over towards Bolivar. If you're in Bolivar, you probably have about 20 to 30 minutes before this line of storms gets ready to move in, and you probably don't want to be outside when that's all happening. So this is the time, as Tim mentioned before, to get into your safe place and just hunker down for a little while until these storms move through. It's just about an hour's worth of your time, and I promise you it'll be well worth it so that you're not out there on the roadways. Also, if you're in Brownsville or in Walnut, Mississippi right now, these storms are all heading in your direction. And then about an hour down the road, we have Selmer. You also will be picking up some of those heavier showers and thunder showers too. So again, the high winds, the heavy rain, we have some small size hail being reported across the area, and those winds gusting over 60 miles an hour in some locations. Tim and I have been checking the reports on the hail, and most of the hail we've seen has been like less than a half an inch in diameter. So while that can be dangerous, it's not as destructive as some of the other hail that we have seen in the past. This line of thunder showers getting ready to move over towards Bolivar, still showing about 30 to 40,000 foot tops right now, and that certainly would be enough to support some small size hail as it pushes over towards the Grand Junction area as well. And as we've mentioned, this whole area is going to continue to move off to the east, and that's why today the Severe Storms Prediction Center has placed most of that location in either the marginal risk or a slight risk category for some severe weather across the area. So Storm Tracker 3S continuing to show some of this activity. I like to back up just a little bit at times to get a better look at what's been going on or what's in the hopper, what's heading our way. We have this line of the strong storms producing all of the severe weather threat, and then back behind it we still have some rain, but not nearly as heavy as this cooler, drier air is finally beginning to filter back into the Mid-South. I don't think we're going to be through with the rain just quite yet. We still have a chance for a few more showers throughout the afternoon and the evening hours, but as far as the severe weather threat, that's going to continue to be off to the east, Tim, as it continues to move away from us. But again, there's multiple threats when we're talking about this severe weather across the area, and I don't want folks to forget that. You know, we talk about, staying off the roadways, high winds, heavy rain, hydroplaning, reduced visibilities. We have the lightning. There's still a lot of problems here, even though we may not be talking about a tornado here, but we're still talking about a lot of problematic situations.
You go back to even to Hurricane Elvis, and as we're watching this, who are we video streaming it? Who is this? Do we know? What reporter? Okay, so this is one of our photographers driving down the interstate here. So they've got a camera set in the car. Everything's good there, and you can see how wet those roadways are. But even when you take this back to 2003 with Hurricane Elvis, that was not a tornadic event. That was a severe thunderstorm warning. And as Todd has shown you here, you're seeing the bow echo here with these storms. They are bowing out now, pushing through areas of West Tennessee. And so you're still talking some winds in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour with these storms. Even though they've now passed out of Shelby County, they're now still impacting areas of West Tennessee and North Mississippi. Nothing tornadic at this time, but we're moving east with these storms. There is some hail with the storms, but this is primarily a wind and a rain event at this time. So we want you to keep that in mind. Let me do a storm track on the kind of the worst part of this as it bows out, and that's going to take it out into Hardeman County. So as we do that, let me, this little section right here, that's going to move out toward Whiteville at 2:26, about a minute from now. Bolivar, 2:36, Tune at 2:43, Hornsby, 2:51, Hickory Corners at 3:03, and then Selmer at 3:12. So we're going to be with you here for about the next 5 minutes or so, tracking these storms. If anything tornadic happens with these storms, we will come back on the air and address that. But right at this point, the main concerns have been flooding and high winds. The rain, copious amounts of rainfall, 3, 4, 5. We've got one indication of 7 inches worth of rain over the past 12 hours. We've got the flood warnings in effect across the area, so we want to make sure that you are aware of that. before you head out. If you see something, water across the roadway, and you don't know how deep it is, turn around, don't drown. That's the saying that we've had for many, many years, not just here, but National Weather Service puts that out as well. You're also picking up some pretty heavy thunderstorm activity around Grand Junction and Salisbury right now. That's right along Highway 57 going out toward Middleton. Let me go ahead and check also some hail on that one. I'll see if I can pick up any hail sizes with that. Stand by. What hail we're seeing is over in Fayette County. It looks like down into Marshall County, Mississippi, but let me do a query on that very briefly so we can check it and check the size on it. Yeah, 1/2 inch diameter hail size, less than 1/2 inch, and about 1/2 inch on each one of these. So there is some small, maybe pea-sized hail taking place with these storms as they continue working eastward, but we're not picking up, you know, golf ball size hail or grapefruit ball size hail or anything like that. This is more of a rain event, flooding, and winds. So these, with all the rain that we've had overnight and really over the past few weeks, you've got these, the weakened root system with a lot of these trees per se. It doesn't take an awful lot of wind to come through and push those trees over. And not just trees with a weakened root system. We've had some healthy, mature trees in the last few weeks that have been blown over as well. So we don't want to underestimate that whatsoever. So just make sure that you keep an eye on your trees and what's going on in your patio. Make sure things are taken down. There's our shot. That one looks like it is the tower cam shot. Let me step over real quick off camera if I could, real quick, because I want to check something right there. Okay, that tower cam shot is frozen up. So can't use that one. That's an sorry about that, Josh. That was a great idea, but a lot of these cameras, because of the lightning that we've had with these storms, you know, hitting our camera systems here and taking some of these cameras really offline. And so that's why I just want to double check and make sure if that one was online or not. But the severe thunderstorm watch continues. The severe thunderstorm watch has now been cleared for Shelby County, Tennessee, Tipton County, Lauderdale County, Dyer County. You're talking DeSoto County, Tate, Panola, Quitman, Tunica County, Coahoma County, and then all the counties in areas of eastern Arkansas, all have been cleared from the severe thunderstorm watch. And if you're listening to Todd, like I was a couple hours ago when he was saying that is exactly what would happen, that's what we anticipated. As these storms rolled through these areas, we'd start seeing these watches and warnings trimmed down, and that's exactly what is taking place. So you've got the flood warnings still in effect. You've got still hefty amounts of rainfall, storms with 60-mile-per-hour winds, some of these between 50 and 60-mile-per-hour winds now pushing across areas of Fayette County, Tennessee, out into Hardeman County. They go down into Marshall County, Mississippi. We've still got some strong storms here in the eastern areas of Tate County, Mississippi, going into southwestern Marshall County, Mississippi, along with all these different flooding reports that we're seeing in Shelby County. So at this point, Todd, I would just say if you're out here in, say, Bolivar, Salisbury, any of these areas down toward Ripley, Mississippi and such, to really expect just an onslaught of rain as these storms come through in the next few minutes.
Rain, as well as some potential high winds in the area as well. We're going to see some small size hail. It's certainly going to be more than just inconvenient. You're going to have to modify your plans over the next hour or so as these storms continue to work their way off to the east, because we're still seeing pockets of very heavy rainfall. As a matter of fact, you know, this is something that I haven't had a chance to do. Let me see if I can get a query as to how heavy that rain is falling across the air. That's showing about an inch an hour. That's not too outrageous. We've in the past seen some rainfall amounts like 6 or 7 inches an hour falling at one particular location. We're not seeing that at this particular moment, but we do see that line of very high winds, heavier rainfall working now across Fayette County, heading towards the Bolivar area, Woodland, Huntersville, Theo, and even over up towards Jackson. That's all going to be happening within about the next half hour. So that is our concern right now. If you're in advance of this line of these storms, we want you to be in a safe place, because we're talking winds. This system already has a history of producing 60 and 70-mile-an-hour winds. So you're going to be dealing with the high winds and the heavy rainfall. And something else I haven't put on recently, because it seems there's so much lightning associated with these storms, you can't always see the radar. So I wanted to show you the lightning associated with that and then take it back off again so that you can get a better look at what's going on underneath all of that lightning as these storms move across the area. But Tim mentioned a moment ago that the severe thunderstorm watch box is starting to be trimmed off. And we also saw a little bit of a trimming of the severe thunderstorm warning as well. We're looking at a new severe thunderstorm warning. Tim, that one across northern Mississippi looks like it was extended now until 3:15. The big box one is going till 3. This one I thought was about to expire at the bottom of the hour, but it looks like we've got another severe thunderstorm warning across northern portions of Mississippi, an indication that we still have those high winds and those heavy rains working their way across the area. So yes, we still have that line of strong storms working across not only north central Mississippi, southwestern Tennessee, periods of heavy rain and the high winds right just to the north of Holly Springs. These are the ones that we really want you to be careful with, and hopefully you can be inside, wait for them to pass over before heading back out again. But if you're in the Bolivar area, that's probably the next big town here that's going to be dealing with some of this heavier rainfall moving across the area. I'll put a quick little path on this here. Bolivar and then over towards Hornsby, Middleburg, Lisbon, Silerton. That's all between now and the top of the hour. So we still have a watch box area. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning area that we were mentioning to you a moment ago. We still have some small size hail associated with these storms as they're working their way off to the east. So Tim, I guess all we can do is caution folks to be extra careful if they have to be out and about. If there's any way possible, wait until these storms pass through the area before heading out. And again, even though here in Memphis and Shelby County and DeSoto County, Tipton County, we're pretty much in the clear. The roads are still going to be wet. I urge you to continue to be very cautious out there. There could be some slipping and sliding going on as we approach the rush hour. We could have a few more showers move in before the evening is through. And again, the good news is the weekend weather is looking spectacular. We want to make sure that you're safe to enjoy this weekend weather. And let's get through these storms this afternoon so we can indeed enjoy and soak up some sunshine and those northerly breezes. For the middle of July, doesn't happen very often. We got to take advantage of it.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Still monitoring these storms very carefully this afternoon across areas of the Mid-South, even though Shelby County is now out of the picture for these severe storms. I'm watching this little cell here around Faulkner, Mississippi. That's starting to bow out just a bit. We've got some other wind to tell you about with these storms that are now pushing into areas of Hardeman County, Tennessee, over into Jackson, Madison County. Just look at that entire area there. It's kind of like a, let me take it back over the last 3 hours. This is really kind of like a backwards C, if you will. This is the 3-hour time lapse. You can kind of see that arc right there as that segment is just kind of bowing out, which still indicates strong winds associated with that. The one thing that I am not seeing right now that I'm glad we're not seeing, and that is we're not seeing a lot of wind damage reports coming in from out in these particular areas of Hardeman County, of Fayette County, these regions. So that's a good sign. I mean, you're getting heavy rain and you are getting slapped around with these winds, but I'm not getting a lot of reports that are coming in to us here at News Channel 3, not getting a lot of reports that are coming in through the chat room here from the National Weather Service. We're seeing the bowing of some of these segments, but we are not getting a lot of reports of damage at this point. That's not to say you couldn't pick up damage with the storms, but I want you to be careful as these storms come through. You can see that the Storm Prediction Center, they're trimming off that severe weather risk for the remainder of today, western Tennessee, north Mississippi, and those storms will be out of here pretty quickly as we're watching them. And this is your severe thunderstorm watch that continues until 6 o'clock this evening. That too is getting trimmed down. We really are kind of on the last leg of these storms. They'll go until like 3:15 this afternoon, maybe 4 o'clock. Areas of eastern, that is out in McNairy County, Alcorn County, Mississippi. So watch these particular areas as these storms come through. You still have the flood warnings in effect across Shelby County, down into areas of DeSoto County, Marshall County, a very small section there of Benton County, Mississippi, Fayette County, Tennessee. This is where the storms are currently located as they're pushing through Bolivar, Bolivar, Selmer, and these areas approaching the Middleton area. The movement of the storms still at about 40 miles per hour. At this point, nothing tornadic taking place. That's the good news, but if that happens, we will break back into programming to give you that update. As severe weather breaks out, we will break in right here on News Channel 3, and we'll have a complete update and your forecast, a beautiful forecast for the weekend coming up on News Channel 3 first at 4. I hope you'll stay with us.